And we have Albert Dürer. And it says, one man's outbreak is another man's breakthrough. Know your perspective. Apocalypse then. And, you know, I just recently found out a lot more about this guy. And, you know, it is about self-reflection. He kind of pioneered the self-portrait. But he's also he has a lot of esoteric knowledge in a lot of his sketches. They're really beautiful, very detailed. Yeah, it's just, it's really nice energy. What do I want to say about him? I just feel like it's kind of like this I am presence. There's like this deep knowledge, this knowledge of self, knowledge of others, knowledge of the universe, and a good grasp on what's going on in the world right now, right? This one man's outbreak is another man's breakthrough, right? Now, when the coronavirus first broke out, this card showed up all over the place, right? It kind of looks like a virus. So I'm just feeling like, yeah, you just have a good grasp of what's happening. Okay, so I just want to start by saying, my goodness, Gemini, how evolved you are. All right, with that said, I suppose I would like to start over here. I find it so interesting that we have this King of Plumes in your past position. We have this Queen of Plumes sitting here, and they're looking at each other. And I cannot help, especially with this Lover's card showing up in the future, right? And then this karmic relationships right here in the center, that this is a counterpart, right? This is your match. And you've both, you know, and there's this mirroring energy as well, right? We've got, in this instance, they're facing out, the moons. In this instance, they're facing in, the sun and the moon. The monarch, I'm not sure what butterfly this is, but we've got transformation happening in both, right? And in this instance, this is a vulture, right? And so you're mirroring each other. You've both been doing the work, right? You've been cleaning up, you know, eating the dead thoughts, right? Working with our thought patterns. And this is a crested pigeon or something. I really don't know a whole lot about this bird. She's beautiful, right? And if we see all this, like, you know, the crown is really emphasized here, right? Which is this I am presence, right? And this is your earth element. So you're showing up in the world, really owning it, right? Speaking your truth, confident in who you are, living your truth, really, not even just speaking your truth, but living your truth, really walking the talk. In your air element, we have the Queen of Blooms. And, you know, I love that it's the octopus, because the octopus is like so intelligent, right? And they use these tentacles as just, you know, a way of feeling their environment, right? It's like they use every bit of their body in a very tactile way, taking in all the information. You know, it's a mode of survival for them. And perhaps there is a sense of that with you, and you're taking in everything in your environment in order to properly respond, right? To know the best way to move through that environment. You're very in tune, right? That third eye is open, right? And of course, heart-driven as well. You know, she moves from the heart. And it's interesting that we have this showing up over here, across the way, this like flower, right? In the star. It's like you've bloomed out of this flower. Now you're using that same flower to build a dream, right? This is like an egg here. This is in the fire element. Once again, we see this firefly in this picture here has no head. The star, it's using, right, this third eye, this inner guidance, right, to light the way, rather than the brain, right? The logical mind, I guess I should say. And then we have, you know, it's like what you're creating, what you're going towards, it seems, is the lovers here, right? And because we see this little two-headed hummingbird on this heart with these little fern fronds, right? This growth coming from the flower. I love this. And this is, you know, also the lovers is that balance, right? Between the masculine and the feminine, between the heart and the mind. I see this beautiful balance, and even, you know, strength is very much about balance here, right in the middle. And we'll get over to, well, why don't we go ahead and hit Wheel of Fortune, since we've hit everything else, which is in the relationships. All right, this is destiny. It's like, you know, and I'm drawn to all the eyes, right? Which it could also be eggs, right? There are some spiders that carry their eggs on their back, or their young on their back. So this could be more than just one thing, like, you know, and you've been weaving, right? This is with the star, sitting with the star here. And, you know, there's this sense of visioning that's happening here. I see manifestation all over this. But this is destined. This is, you know, the karmic relationships too, right? Breaking out of a cycle. And as we move out of a cycle, we move into a new one. It's going to take, you know, some strength, right? To deal with this karmic cycle. Once again, we have this, you know, eternity symbol. This is the rhinoceros beetle. Which is interesting. And green, right? The heart. This is Leo energy. So once again, we're dealing with the heart. And I just get this feeling like, you know, for those that are in a relationship, right? This time period has tested you, but it's only making it stronger, right? There's this, we have this determination here at the bottom of the deck. And underneath that is angels and masters. Number 33, once again, you're protected by angels. And then family underneath that. So this is, and that family card is, very ancestral, right? This is soul family, and, or it's regular family too, but this is, deeper even. And we see here the salmon, right? They go through all this in order to meet up with their soulmate, so to speak, and procreate, right? To keep it going. So, I don't often see that part of it, but in this case, I do. I feel like there's whatever, and if you have somebody in mind here, right? This has been tested because, they're on different worlds here, right? They can see each other. They're connected, right? And this, if you've been, away from somebody and the connection feels stronger at this point than it was at the beginning of this, then, that is a soulmate, right? This could also be about if you're, completely alone, you have no person in mind whatsoever. This is saying, this has been coming into balance with yourself and going over those, relationships in the past to see how they have built this strength in you. And how to see it as building strength rather than, closing yourself off. Seeing it as a strength rather than as an oppression. Because this is the Empress here, right? This is the feminine. Masculine, feminine, feminine, feminine. And, Filippo Marinetti here at the bottom, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is about the evolution of the masculine. All right. So, this is what you are consciously moving towards, and it's really beautiful, really in line with what's going on in the subconscious. Beautiful. Look at this too. The egg, right? And Star Keeper, the star. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So yeah, this is about you getting the downloads, right? Earthing that energy, right? The divinity, really owning your divinity. Really owning your evolution, right? Yeah, I'm looking at these 4 quadrants, right? And this is the 4 queens represented here, the 4 directions. And this is pulling in that abundance, right? It's all coming to you, right? You're in this like cocoonish kind of thing still, but this is just getting, it's more of an egg than a cocoon at this point, right? It's all these little eggs are getting ready to hatch. You're getting ready to hatch into the star, right? And then in your subconscious, we have well and orca elders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep with the Knight of Stones. And, you know, I can't help but see this as that fire in your heart, right? And then we have this, these horns like it's a unicorn and it's crystals. You know, this is life purpose. This is, you know, and you're ready to share it. You are sharing it. You're walking, you know, it's, I feel like this is what's happening here and here and here, right? You're totally in tune. Right? And you're really feeling the depth of you, of the universe, of your purpose. You're really getting it. It's just really flipping gorgeous. I don't know what else to say about it. You know, this little line here, we have a lot of air and fire right here in the middle, right? So this is really nice. This is kind of tempered. Wheel of Fortune, it's Jupiter, right? And it's all, you know, once again, all of the elements are represented here, all of them here. It's beautiful. I love it. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. It's just, you've got it going on. All right. Let's get a piece of art for Gemini. And then we'll get closing guidance. And then we will take a look at the underlying energies all together. Okay. I'm going to go right over here. All right. What do we got? To the left. Ah, interesting. Dolly. And it's Sleep is the name of it. This is interesting. I love Dolly. So yeah, there's this certain amount, you know, it's like, let's read this. In this fantastic interpretation of sleep, only the head of the dreamer is seen against a background of dreamlike images. The delicate balancing of the figure indicates that should a single crutch fail, the dreamer will awake. This demonstrates the fragility of the state of sleep. His meticulous attention to detail creates an atmosphere of enhanced hyper-reality. Oh, this is that visioning, right? 7 of Blooms here at the bottom. I feel like this is your meditative states, right? And doing this like visioning, like what I saw here. Even here, right? Kind of envisioning what you want. And the meditative state, you know, I feel is very much like that, right? Like all it takes is just a little thought to creep in and everything kind of falls apart. Then we have to pull ourselves back together again. Perhaps sleep has been an unusually hard thing for you as of late. I know it has been for a lot of people. So maybe this is like saying, you're going to get some sleep here.